Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dealer, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 16. Okay, I apologize for not having a winning video last week. Like I said, getting Gold 3 right off the bat pretty much meant all the Langrisser ranks were all in Gold 3, working their way up, essentially. And every box was practically the same, which is kind of annoying. I did have 2 losses prior to this match, which didn't matter because I was already at D-rank protection, because you can't D-rank below Gold 3 once you get to Gold 3. One match I didn't bother playing. I was just like, you know what, I'm good. I don't want to deal with that rush box. Just, is it cheesy to take advantage of the fact that I'm on, bare minimum points? Yes, but I didn't care. But the other match I did do, and I was still kind of getting used to some of the changes I did to the box, like having the chorus and things like that. Part of it was me not going in the right order to do things, and the other issue was was a little bit of bad luck, where the random debuffs I was getting on Christiane was mobility down, which negates guard, and that kind of left me pretty open to being just picked off one by one. In any case, speaking of the box, there have been some changes. Biggest, of course, is the fact I dropped TRS for Lycoris, and I also dropped a NARM for Nemea. Lycoris did get her inscription, which makes it so she can actually give damage taken down, as well as immunity for 2 turns to whoever you center her spells on. So if she uses area heal, whoever she clicks on is the one that will get that buff. Which is pretty useful, because immunity to all status effects is always good, and it also counts as its own separate buff as far as things like being purged from Sword Soul. The Mia replaced Narm. As much as I enjoyed cheesing people around with Narm, at the rank I'm currently at, and the fact that, like I mentioned, pretty much all the Langrisser people are right now grinding their way to Langrisser, I don't expect to really be able to trick anyone with Narm shenanigans, where she can bypass guard after targeting flyers. Also, I felt like Nemea can provide a little bit better support overall. She does have some passive healing capabilities. She has the ability to throw out a lot of terrain, which is very useful, since there's a lot of people that are a lot of characters that really are a problem for me with spreading water and all those sorts of other terrain. Besides that, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I may have changed some buffs around, or some enchants around, but that's about it, I think. In any case, as for our opponent here, a lot of faces we haven't seen in a while. I think, is this Alpha? I think that's her name. Alpha. I'm pretty sure she's just here as a bruiser DPS AoE. We got Andriel, of course. Andriel is on the same banner as Nemea. Andriel is ridiculous, from what I've seen. He's essentially just like better Jintoki, and Jintoki was already ridiculous. We've also got Leo Beck. We got Caroline, I think that's her name. This is the first time I think I've ever seen Caroline. This is also the first time I've ever seen Leo Beck, of all the people. From the looks of this, there's only 1 tank. Yeah, 1 tank, only 1 healer. Honestly, this box it looks to be just kind of a fast rush DPS type box. There's definitely a lot of ways to increase mobility and move again and teleport, so that is kind of what I'm dealing with here. My opponent did open by banning the Awakened one, which is usually different. Most of my opponents tend to ban Rose and Seal these days. Go ahead and ban their Awakened one, because I know they're going to ban my Rose and Seal next. And I go ahead and grab Christiane. My goal for the ban pick here is get rid of physical DPS as best as possible, and then leave them with casters. As annoying as it is to get hit with a million debuffs from AoEs and things like that, I need to take advantage of the fact that Christiane just completely reduces the magic damage that you take. In any case, as expected, I lose Rose and Seal, lose Liana, so I'm down to 2 healers. They go ahead and take Grinshield. I go ahead and get rid of both the banner characters, Nemea and Andriel. Grab the chorus. The chorus overall kind of has better AoE heals than Sissy White overall. The biggest issue with Lycoris in most cases is the fact that she kind of has no choice but to kind of cycle cooldowns with like buffs and rely on her terrain to heal people. which isn't the end of the world, but it is kind of tedious. But really, all I need her to do is keep me alive long enough to, you know, get rid of the people that are nuking me, or at the very least, keep me alive long enough before so their AOE's go on cooldown. In any case, I go ahead and lose Namiya, lose Tatalia. They go ahead and take Leon. As expected, they're kind of taking physical DPS. I go ahead and get rid of SP Bernhardt, get rid of Archon on the Moon, grab Grinshield. I really wanted the faction buff, so go ahead and grab that. We go ahead and get rid of Kayura and get rid of Connie. I was tempted to take Kayura instead of Grinshield because I can actually buff her with Dark Faction buff. But I really wanted to have that other faction buff so I can have buff coverage. They go ahead and grab Lena. I think this is the second time we've ever had Lena on screen as far as videos are concerned, so we'll see how that goes. Get rid of Caroline, get rid of Sword and Light and Shadow. Go ahead and grab my usual sniper. They go ahead and get rid of my last healer, get rid of the person I can actually faction buff, but I can actually faction buff Pyrotess because she is Dark Faction. They go ahead and grab Auden Kelmo, and I go ahead and get rid of their one tank, and get rid of Alpha. Well, actually, I get rid of both their tanks. Alpha can also tank, so I get rid of both of them, leave them with either a healer or Leo back. Preferably, I would rather than pick a healer because I plan on one-shotting everything. And I go ahead and grab Pyrotess. A second tank would be kind of interesting because it'll give me some coverage against Grinshield's shield. But honestly, if I allow Grinshield to throw a shield at me and take advantage of that, I probably deserve whatever's coming to me. And I go ahead and grab Leo back, so no healers on the opposing force. So I ensured that they didn't have a tank, and I was like, cool, I can just focus on taking everything that I don't have to worry about guard or anything. And sure enough, I did not take my own advice. I was planning on taking Disarm, but I thought for some reason I had Disarm already set and didn't even check. And so I have Order of the Guardian instead, which is somewhat not useful because I have buff coverage already. In any case, Snipe, Sneak, Order of the Guardian buff, Deck Gunners, Grinshield standard kits with Air Slash and War Falcons. The chorus, so if I were going full heals, I would go Mass Heal, Mass Resist, and Mass Protect. I went ahead and grabbed Force of Darkness, just so I can have some buffs for Pyrotess. I also went with Crystal Warlocks. The other issue with Chorus is she doesn't actually have the best troops as far as being a support healer type, which is a little annoying. Christiana went with Angels. Obviously, majority of this force is magic. The only two I need to worry about is Leon and Grinshield, particularly Leon, since he's cavalry, and he'll just shred through all my Angels and then shred through all my infantry. And then Grinshield also does tend to hit like a truck. In any case, Christian buffs, standard kit with Flower Formation buff and 4 Realm. Pyrotess, I did bring her Dark Thorn, Slice Riding, Quickstep as usual. Pyrotess does have the range increasing bow, as does Silvaria. I guess one change I did for Chorus, since when I threw her into the box, is I did give her the staff that dispels effects whenever you do cast support effects. So she's got that staff. It does get plus intelligence rather than plus healing, but that's fine by me. Alright, as for the opposition, Auden Kelmo, pretty standard kit here with Black Hole, 3C, and a single target spell. Has Fairy Spirit Prophets. Grinshield, standard kit with War Falcons. I'm just comparing. We're pretty equal. We're pretty close. Anyway, Lena here brought Mass Attack. Yeah, I guess I don't really have much for buffs. Mass Attack. Oh wow, yeah. So Lena didn't actually bring her 3C. So she brought Arcane Blast, Mass Attack, and Dragon Slave. So all of her AoEs essentially. And has Poison Bat Mages, which I think do additional debuffs. Oh, before battle. Okay. We'll read about Leo back in a second. We got Leon here, Chivalry, Blue Dragon Strike, and then his SP AoE nonsense. So pretty standard stuff there. Leo Beck. So, for those who don't know, Leo Beck has +2 unit range, just flat out. When his HP is greater than 70%, damage dealt is increased. Whenever an ally initiates battle, after battle, if the enemy's unit's HP is below 15%, they deal fixed damage to them by equal to 2 times Leo Beck's intelligence. So you just start taking random damage. He's got Black Hole, and then I think this is his 1 cost. Attacks a single enemy for 1.5 times damage. If the enemy has resist deadly damage effect, this damage is increased by 30%. So this does extra damage to those who could self-res, which is kind of interesting. And then I believe this is his 3C. Passive, before dealing damage with an AoE skill, apply Nether Flame to the enemy. After caster or allied units that have contract entering battle, the talent's fixed damage effect is guaranteed to trigger. Okay, and then when the target dies, Leo Beck gains 2% increase to all stats, excluding HP, stackable up to 5 times. And then the AoE itself is just essentially a stronger Black Hole. And that's the gist of it. Alright, so that's what we're dealing with. Okay, let's dive right in. So right now I'm kind of just seeing where my opponent goes. So right here, 2 spaces down from where Silvari is at, that's 10 spaces away from Leon. So I do go ahead and get set up that way. Leon is in mountains, so that's 10% increased defense. But he doesn't have any buffs beyond that, and they don't really have many defensive buffs to begin with. So there's a good chance I may be able to get kill here. And then Auto Kelmo's doing that annoying stuff. Right now, the portals don't really do too much. Even with an act again or move again, they still can't reach me. So usually you try to do a cross formation when you're dealing with another Grinshield. But since Grinshield literally can't really reach me, I was kind of okay with this setup here. And if they overcommit so much that they get all the way to the front here, I should be fine. So yeah, I did. So one thing I didn't realize when with the inscription that Lycoris got, faction buffs do count as far as faction buffs count as targeting yourself. It looks like, or at least it was since I clicked myself. So it did apply the immune to all debuffs and reduce damage taken. And it lasts 2 rounds, which is good. And it doesn't seem to have a cooldown, which is really, really cool. Alright, mass attack. Alright, faction buff for Silvaria and Grinshield there. Breeze did proc, which is annoying, but it doesn't actually change anything. She still can't reach me as far as throwing a shield is concerned. Alright. I need to do about 13,500. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think even with a faction buff, I would still get kill. Alright. Now, my choices there were to either kill Leon or kill Leo Beck. Leon, I think, is the bigger threat because he does a lot of physical damage. And he also throws out terrain, which is also annoying. I knew that killing him was going to make Lena angry, so I was kind of prepared for that. So she's in angry mode, she's got increased mobility, and her next ability is going to be 100% crit rate, which is annoying. But it's all magic, and I have all this that can reduce magic damage dealt, so we'll see how it does. But first, I'm going to get hit by this. So Black Hole. Yep, so I went straight into this already. Obviously, I was a little concerned about getting hit with Dragon Slave at this point. I am 4 spaces away with Pyrotest, so I can just shoot from here. One thing to note, though, is, of course, Autumn Kelmo has portals out, so her range is also 4. But I am Assassins, and Assassins tend to attack faster than casters. So I need to do about 16,000, give or take. and I do 29,000. Alright. I do fall back. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to get hit here. Dragon Slave does do reduced damage based off how far away you are from the center, but it's still not enough to save me. Alright. So other annoying things. So this terrain here. This terrain will only go out if you are in rage mode when you do Dragon Slave. They will not get defensive bonuses from terrain, which I wasn't relying on in the first place. But also every time you take an action on it, you get a random debuff. And that includes mobility down, which apparently I just got. So very annoying. Not much I can do about it. So at this point, I was hoping to survive enough to survive both AoEs. That way I could throw out Langrisser's heal. Obviously, I only have one healer here, and there's a lot of AoE coming my way, so I kind of had to prepare that way. Good news is I don't need to worry about Leo Beck. He is still out of range. Grin Shield can reach me, so I'm just going to have to endure that. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and do mass heal. So in hindsight, what I should have done, instead of centering it on Langrisser, is I should have centered it on Christiane. Centering it on Christiane would give her damage reduction and made it so she would be immune to debuffs. At the very least, it would give her 2 more buffs to be soaked by Grinshield's 3C. Alright, Breeze proc. And I need to keep Sylvaria alive, so throw out a Floral Realm for her. Alright, Cold Shield. Also, Grin Shield is immune to fixed damage. Yeah, so Angel's not so good against physical. Also, I had lower mobility, so that was just bad all around. The other annoying thing was I did get a mobility cannot move or guard from the 3C as well. So again, I have no guard active. Good news is Lena can't reach me as far as single targets are concerned. Leo Beck can, but that's not the end of the world either. So at this point, I have 1 action left, and I'm going to be giving up initiative here. Grin Shield, of course, has a million buffs active. I can dispel 3 of them, and that's all I can really hope for. So I go ahead and throw out a Cold Shield. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have any talent buff here. But I can at least do some damage. But more importantly, what I didn't realize here, so out of the buffs I dispelled, I did dispel the immunity buff that Grinshield's shield provides. So getting rid of that allowed me to actually apply cannot move or guard. So Grinshield can't actually capitalize on the the guard being removed because she can't actually move. I mean, she technically can attack Grinshield right now, but I think it would probably be a trade at this point. So I'm not sure if this was the best call. I don't know if Leo Beck would have done better with a his single target, but he instead opted to do this AoE. So this was a kind of an annoying situation. Obviously, Christiane can't move right now, so the only way for me to actually hit with Sylvaria is if I move into, actual outside of guard range. This was kind of the issue where I didn't bring Disarm. But for right now, I was just like, alright, I just need to survive right now. So, in hindsight, I should have attacked with Sylvaria at this point, I think. It's hard to say. Sylvaria definitely would have gotten a kill, because she's, archers versus flyers. But doing this did also kind of move me away. Oh, I know why I did it. Okay, so I moved up here, because Lena, of course, has 4 range. And her AoEs become 5 range then. So moving up this way ensured that Lena couldn't actually reach me this round. So she's just going to take advantage of the teleport here. And I'm going to go ahead and use Mass Resist to get some buffs up. And just kind of do what I can. Just trying to get as much passive healing going as possible. I go ahead and do full defense as well. I didn't really need to do that since I just put up Mass Resist. But I didn't really have much else to do. Black hole. Alright, floral realm to keep her alive. And then I'm gonna get hit with Arcane Blast. Now, Arcane Blast does extra damage against Holy and Mages, which the only Holy on the field right now is Lycoris. So at this point, my opponent has nothing left. Lena has one turn before Dragon Slave comes back up. Her Mass Attack is back up, but other than that, her AoEs are gone. Leo Beck here has his single target, and that is it. His AoE is going to come back next round as well, but by then I would have already healed up and probably taken out a few of them. So yeah, getting some random debuffs here. Soul Corruption. Can't get through the Angels. And there you go. That's the battle. And again, bugged out on the stat sheet there. So yeah, I think it worked out alright. I was wondering if that buff I did with the order command actually mattered, but since I had the last thing I did was actually the what do you call it? The mass resist. I think it might have helped since I don't think I actually got the mass resist on Silvaria because of the debuff negation, and that got purged away with the terrain and the staff and all that good stuff. I mean, she didn't get targeted at anyone, and I did not get hit with another AoE, but it's still good to have. But yeah, really interesting fight. I definitely enjoyed those types of matches better than seeing all the usual meta units, so that was nice. Lycoris is pretty good, but you have to really time things and definitely take into account how much you can actually tank. You definitely also want to make sure when you're fighting against opponents that you're trying to get rid of as much physical damage as possible. That way you can have Christiane help soak all the damage, and that helps out a lot too. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah, so I have a lot of losses because I kind of just purposely left matches during the ban pick phase because I just did not want to deal with certain encounters. I'm gold 3. I've done more than 10 matches, so I've gotten my got my Shark Boys, and I've gotten my I don't even remember your name. This guy's freaking skin. I know he's R rarity, so it's definitely someone you don't really use. But yeah, besides that, hopefully as people kind of gradually filter out into their appropriate ranks, I can actually fight people that are more around my level. I will say the match I did do with the Langrisser rank character from previous season wasn't too bad, but like I said, it was bad luck in me poorly deciding when to actually anger Lena. Lena by herself is not too bad, but angering her definitely and letting her throw out that terrain can definitely put some issues in, because the random debuffs. The biggest issue with Christiane is the fact she doesn't have a way of resisting mobility down. And I know the moment I give her like a badge to negate mobility down, I'm going to get hit with heal negation by like a sword soul or something, and then my life will be over. So it's just a lot to juggle. I may consider swapping, but that'll be for another time. I am The Depressed Eeyore. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 16. I'll see you guys later.